Thanks for tuning in to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. Here you'll find tips, insight, and information to help your music and your ministry succeed. Whether you're a singer, a musician, or a songwriter, we want to help you where you are, but we also want to help you get to where you want to go. We believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with those are our gift back to God. Yesterday's information is important, but what we can learn today will make this the best day yet. Hey there, Rob Novell here. Welcome back to another episode of the CNS podcast, The Best Day Yet. Hope this finds all well with you. It's exciting to be back for another week. I love doing these. I love putting these out, but I really love the feedback that I get. I had several texts and emails this week of not only recent episodes, but podcasts that people have gone back and kind of listened to in the full library. Once these go live, they stay live. So want to encourage you, dig back through their random topics each week. They're different. We really don't. Sometimes we connect the dots from one week to the other. But look through the list, go down through the list and see if something jumps off the page that could help you be better at what you do. That's why the Charles Novell School of Music is here, is to help individuals with their music and their ministries be the best that they can be. I've said it, you've heard me if you've listened to a few of these. I believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with them, that's our gift back to God. And man, I was raised in a home. My father was Charles Novell, and man, my dad loved God and he loved God's people. I was raised in a musical home. My dad had a doctorate degree in music, both vocal and piano emphasis. And so I learned a lot about music growing up, but more importantly, it was a ministry home as well. And ministry came before the music, and that's the objective at the Charles Novell School of Music. We want to help you be as effective as you can be. Why? Not to impress somebody with your abilities to sing or to play an instrument or to write a song, but we want to make you a more effective ministry, to encourage the saints, to uplift the church. But, we're fishing for that one lost soul, someone that your music, your life, your testimony, your ministry may come in touch with. You may be the very reason, the catalyst that causes that person to surrender their life to God. So we believe that an effective ministry is a polished ministry. So that's why we do CNS. That's why we have the summer session each year. That's why we go out various places in different times of the year and do weekend, what we call regional seminars. That's why we have an online presence. That's why we have an online school. There's going to be more information coming out shortly about our online curriculum and some exciting changes that are happening there to, again, just allow us to reach as many people as we can, to help as many people as we can be the best that they can be unto God, first and foremost. It's why we have what we call creative coaching. Creative coaching is where you can study privately on a weekly, a bi-weekly, a monthly schedule with our CNS staff members. You can study voice, piano, guitar, bass guitar, songwriting, technology, something that we've had a lot of interest in recently, and we do offer this at the summer, the summer session or the creative coaching production studio side of things. Yes, we can help you with that. I have my own Christian recording studio called Counterpoint Recording, and I have been doing this since 1993. And I can help you there. I have a couple other staff members that they do that as well. So yes, we can help even on that production end of things. And last but not least, it's why we do these weekly podcasts. We are just trying to make CNS accessible and available on to as many people as we can. So thanks for tuning in. I like to say this, your time is extremely valuable, and you chose to tune in today, and you've already given me 5 minutes and 16 seconds of your time, according to the counter up there. So thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule and tuning in. Hey, today, I'm excited. We don't really have a topic, minus our topic today is the Charles Novell School of Music CNS23 session coming up July 16th through the 22nd at Murray State University in Murray, Kentucky. Really excited because over the last couple of days, I've been releasing posts of our staff that's going to be at the school. We are finalizing the schedule, the daily schedule. That is a chore. Corey Eisel is our events coordinator, and Corey, we don't do what we do, you all, without Corey Eisel. And Corey and I, literally daily, sometimes multiple times a day, this time of year, we're in touch because we are trying to plan and get everything finalized with the schedule so that we can release that early. I'm hoping that we are a couple weeks away from releasing the schedule. The way that works, when students register for a CNS session, we have a private Facebook page that we invite them to, and we put information out on there. We do that on our public Charles Novell School of Music Facebook page as well. But things that are pertaining to our upcoming session, we put on that private page. You know, I remember the credit card commercial growing up. Membership has its privileges. So, hey, if you've signed on the dotted line and you have committed to be with us at our next upcoming session, then we keep you kind of informed with information. So that schedule will be coming out and being posted to that private Facebook page here shortly. And just super excited about this year's session. If you talk to me the 1st of June on any given year, I'm going to tell you I'm excited about CNS. CNS, this is all I've ever known, you all. I was speaking to a registered student earlier this evening and told them that, man, I am passionate about this school. It's all I've ever known. This will be my 53rd music school. I have not missed one. Well, I take that back. I did have to miss one year. We moved to Georgia in 2005, a couple weeks prior to the school. And needless to say, our house was upside down with boxes, and I had a wife, which I still do. That sounded all past tense. Jen is still with me. If you have listened recently, we just celebrated 25 years of marriage bliss. See, I was born at night, but not last night, so I would not say anything besides pure marriage bliss. Now, it's come with some moments of what we in the Novell house we call moments of intense fellowship. Yeah, we've had some of those, but you know what? It always ends covered in the blood. So not our blood. We don't fight. I mean the blood of Jesus Christ. We always resolve things. But I did miss one because of that. But listen, I am extremely passionate about this school. Number one, it's all I've ever known. Number two, I grew up, I had dreams. There were things that I wanted God to do with my life and my talents. And because of the training that I've received at this school, when God saw fit to open that door, you know what? The school had equipped me and provided me the necessary knowledge and motivation and encouragement from staff members that spoke into my life as a student. When God opened that door, I was prepared. CNS had me ready to walk through it. So that, number one, has me excited. I've seen the effects of the school firsthand. I can share story after story of students that have attended the school and what God has ended up doing with their life and the path that He ordained their ministry and their music to go. I could do that. Multiple things just are popping into my mind right now that I could share, but I can personally share a story because I was that guy. I was that student. I was that individual that came, and everything that happened, I looked up and saw. And during classes, or even when groups would pull in their buses and get off and walk in to maybe at times give us a spontaneous concert or that evening's scheduled concert, I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I it became just a burning desire inside of me, and that door opened again, and I was able to do that. So I get that perspective of the student, and what the big question marks, what could eventually come out of this. So for me, it allowed me to chase a dream and fulfill that dream, live that dream. And then on this side of things, I tell you what, I know that I'm even more excited now to kind of be sitting in the driver's seat running this school. The excitement is still there, or it is there now, just like when I was a student. I just get so excited this time of year knowing that we are fixing to have CNS. Why? Because so many reasons. We've shared this. I've said this. Yes, first and foremost, CNS is a school of music. We are a school of Christian music. We're going to teach you and help you with your music. That's why we do what we do. However, it's so much more than just a school of music. It's a place to come and find encouragement. It's a place to come and find motivation. It's a place to come and, in my case, find your call. God used the school to speak his call over my life more than once. The years that I traveled on the road and was part of a full-time Southern Gospel Quartet, man, those are some of the best years of my life. And the school allowed me to chase and fulfill that dream. Man, running this school, I'm in the middle of a second one. And I do know and believe that God called me to do what I'm doing right now through this very school that I now get to run. Man, when my dad passed away in 2020, he had been dealing with some health things. And so probably 5, 6, 7 years prior to his passing, I was running the school under his supervision. He was there. 2018 was the last time he was physically able to be with us. 2019, he just, where we were when the school approached, it literally did not have the strength to be with us and take on that week, because I know my dad just went. He didn't know anything about taking it easy. And he's like, oh, come on, I won't do anything. And I'm like, that's impossible. So we kind of made him stay away that year. And man, I remember having that conversation in front of him in his chair at his home. And man, I teared up, and I'm like, man, I cannot do this, Dad, without you. And like only my dad could do through his speaking and his encouragement. But with me at times through tough love, he looked at me, he said, dry it up. Quit your crying. He said 2 things that I need you to hear and hear clearly. He said, number 1, I have trained you to do this. I have raised you in the school and showed you how to do what I'm asking you to do next week. Number 2, more importantly than that, God has called you to do this. So dry it up, quit your crying, and go do it. So, that was confirmation of the call on my life. When Dad passed, I've told people this way. I was handed the keys to a car in very, very sound condition. There wasn't a whole lot I had to do. I just got behind the wheel, and I drove a little faster than my dad taught me to. So, man, I got excited. I got behind the wheel. I mashed down as hard as I could on that gas pedal, and I'm just trying to push us forward, because I know there's things that God needs us to do through the Charles Novell School of Music. So we've instituted new things over the last several years. The last 3 years has been a big year or several years of growth, of repurpose, I think, of revisioning, My dad always said, Robbie, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We haven't reinvented the wheel here. CNS is what CNS has always been. Our DNA is our DNA. There's no changing that. But what God has, I believe, done in the area of creativity is He has opened my eyes, my ears, and my heart to move us into new and different areas that we weren't necessarily doing before. We were able to survive COVID. We never canceled. The Charles Novell School of Music will go down in history as stated. They never stopped. We found a way. 2020 was a year, I've said this, we were all in the same storm, just different boats. And we had to find new ways to do the same old thing. So Dad passed January 17th of 2020. March 27th, we get an email from Murray State University where we had been for decades. And the email said, we are canceling all summer activities due to the COVID-19 breakout. And man, I went to bed that night really down and really discouraged. Still, my dad's passing was fresh, and I'm processing that and dealing with life on a daily basis that was changed. It was different. And went to bed that night, kind of pity party, to be just transparent. And I got a call the next day. And I have certain ringtones for certain people, so I recognize, if I can't see the phone, I hear and I know who it is. And the ringtone was very clear that it was my big brother, Jeff Stice, giving me a call. And I answered the call, and Jeff was that voice in my life that I could vent to, I could talk straight to, I could share with him exactly how I felt. Because number one, he was going to listen. And number two, he was probably going to speak something into me that I needed to hear. And he didn't sugarcoat it that particular day. I answered the phone. I'm like, hey, Jeff. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I can hear it in your voice. What's going on? Tell me. Talk to me. So I told him about the email from Murray State. They had canceled us. And I'm like, man, Jeff, it's just a punch in the gut. We lose Dad. I want to move this school forward. And then, the enemy shows up like this and they canceled us. We don't have a location. And Jeff said, so? And I'm like, so what? Hello, did you not hear me? We don't have a location to hold CNS20. And he's like, well, find a new location. And I was trying to digest what he just said and think of something smart or sarcastic or stupid to say. And he kept going. He's like, look, you have something that you are supposed to do. Don't let something and I don't mean this, Robbie, disrespectfully, but don't let something as small as this COVID-19 thing, because what God has called you to do is bigger than any outbreak that's going to break out. So Jeff spoke into me that day. I did. I got out of my little pity party and we moved forward. And I leaned on Jeff heavily that year, and he was there for me. And man, I miss him. I miss him. But you know what? Let's start there. I've been putting out some posts over the last couple days, and the first one that I put out was on our piano staff that's going to be with us at CNS23. And so let's talk about that for a minute. We have got an amazing piano staff, and that excites me because in our logo, if you've ever seen the CNS logo, right there in our logo, the CNS, the C for my dad, Charles, is it's a piano. It's in our logo. Talk about the core of our DNA. That was a very instrument that God used to take my dad on his journey. So piano is very, very important to us at the Charles Novell School of Music. So here's who we have lined up to be on staff this year at the Charles Novell School of Music for piano. James Rainey, Man, Jeff and I had talked. The school was growing, and we were looking at if we need to add any pianist. Jeff who, and James Rainey was the first name that came out of Jeff that particular phone call that day. And so James is going to be with us. James has played for so many groups over the years, the Hoppers and the Greens and the Singing Americans. He's currently out doing solo things, but as well, he is with Jonathan Wilburn and playing for Jonathan. We've got Roy Webb. Roy was pianist for Ernie Haas's Signature Sound, and then Gold City after that. We have Becky Carver. Becky, I love these stories. Becky was a student at our school in the early 90s, and we love to promote from within. We have several staff members that were former students. So Becky's a graduate of Mississippi State University and just a very, very gifted pianist and vocalist. She's a vocal instructor as well. Keith Barkley. Keith, back when I still lived in Ohio, with I mentioned our studio earlier, Counterpoint. When my dad couldn't make a session, I would give Keith a call. Keith would come in, Jeff would come in, Roy would come in and play on our sessions. Keith is a extremely gifted pianist. He's a vocal instructor as well at CNS. And so he'll be with us. Dana Simpson. Dana was a student of Jeff Stice. And man, when I hear the word, I met Dana a couple years ago. And since I've met her, anytime I hear the word chord or chords or added chords or embellished chords or doctored chords or pretty chords or filler chords, any type of chord, a Honda Accord, anytime I hear the word chord, I think now of Dana Simpson. She is so gifted with her voicing of her chords. She'll be there. I will be there. Again, I have grown up in this school. My dad was my biggest influence and motivator as a teacher. So I am part of this crazy piano staff as well. And then following that, I put a post out about our female voice instructors. And once again, just crazy, the talent that we have available to you to come and be encouraged, motivated, and taught by. We have Mary Ann Oglesby Southerly. Mary Ann has been doing this a long time. Her experience and her credentials, as well of a singer as she is, and good of a singer, man, she is an exceptional vocal coach, and she's sought after. People work with her from all over the country as their vocal coach. We have Tara Jackson. Tara's amazing. Tara not only is a gifted singer, but Tara's a worship pastor in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And we have a worship course at CNS. This started last year at CNS23. We're going to have the second edition or run of that this year at CNS23. Tara heads up our worship course at the school. Really excited this year. We're adding Allison Spear to our vocal staff. And man, what an addition that Allison is going to be. Allison is a staple. You'll see her on many of the Gaither videos. She's a Gaither video artist and has been on that tour with them. So she brings all of that experience to the table. That's just crazy. And then just a side note, her husband is Brian Spear, and growing up in this school, Brian was one of those heroes, one of those guys I looked up to, one of those guys I saw on stage, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do that. And so it's really great to have Allison on staff. Becky Carver, again, we mentioned her a while ago as a piano instructor. She also teaches voice. Corey Eisel, I mentioned her earlier. She's our events coordinator. Corey is, we don't do what we do without Corey. And Corey was a student of my dad's. And she's another one that we promoted from within. What's neat about Corey is she studied under my dad and studied hard. And she learned quite a bit. And it is so cool knowing that she is passing along that information that she will tell you Dr. Charles poured into her. So it's an honor to have her. And then Dana, that I mentioned a while ago, on our piano staff. She serves on our female vocal staff as well. All right, let's talk our male vocal staff. This is crazy list here. You know what? I'm going to randomly go through these. I'm not looking at any particular thing, but I know who they are, but I'm not maybe put them in order as I had posted this week. But Tim Owens is going to be with us. Man, Tim is, he's a pastor in the Chattanooga area, and he is an award-winning gospel music tenor. He's a fantastic tenor singer. He sings with the Old Time Preachers Quartet. And funny side note with Tim, it's so neat to be doing ministry beside him, because when I traveled in the 90s with a group called Perfect Heart, Tim would get on the bus and just go out and ride with us on trips. And now to see him in full-time ministry doing what God's called him to do is just a really cool thing. Shannon Newman is on our vocal staff. Shannon is great vocalist. Shannon is good in technology and various things that he helps us with at the school. Shannon was Jeff Stice's manager the last 7-8 years of Jeff's career and ministry, and Shannon brings that information and knowledge to the table as well. Paul Secord, y'all, the Gospel Road Coach, Paul Secord, the executive president of God See Media, will be with us teaching at the school. What an honor it is to have Paul and all of his knowledge and wisdom and compassion that he brings to the table. So it's an honor to have Paul. Michael Booth, you all. I say that and then I pause because I just said Michael Booth is going to be at the school with us. Man, we brought Michael in last year as a guest for a day, and he was such an impact on the students. And I think these students were an impact on him to the point that he asked if he could be with us a little longer for CNS23. And you know what? You don't tell Michael Booth no, right? So absolutely, he's going to be with us. Again, another face and name that you see attached with the Gaither series and the videos and the concerts and all of that. But you know what? That's not what's important to Michael. I love Michael's heart. Michael's heart is about singing and seeing lives touched and lives changed. So Michael's going to be with us. Jonathan Wilburn, y'all, back again, my Perfect Heart years, Jonathan was with his family, the Wilburns, and I loved when we would work with them, because not only could they sing, and that lineup of Jackie and Elaine and Jonathan and Tony Gore, man, that lineup was ridiculous. But not only could they sing, and I knew I was going to hear good singing, but it's what I felt every time I heard the Wilburns sing. It was an anointing would hit that room, and it was just a thick, thick cloud of anointed singing. So it's such an honor. He went from there to Gold City for so many years and has won award after award. But again, he'll tell you it's not about that. It's about seeing lives change. So what an honor to have Jonathan. And then lastly, Danny Funderburk. What a name. When you think of tenors and gospel music, well, I've officially said 2 and Tim 3, Paul crazy. When you think of tenors and you think of the best that have taken the platform in Southern gospel music, you have to have Danny Funderburk on that list, and very close, if not on the top of that list. What an honor it is to have Danny, all of his years singing with the Singing Americans, and then the cathedrals, Perfect Heart, Mercy's Way, so many different groups that he's been with. But one thing was consistent. Regardless what bus he got off of, you knew what you were getting when Danny Funderburk would step up to a microphone. So such an honor to have all of them part of our male vocal staff. A couple posts that are coming. We have other staff members that are more of maybe the classroom side of things. And there we're going to be seeing Billy Blackwood, you all. I've said this about Billy. I've not known life without a Billy Blackwood in it. Billy, growing up in this school, his dad, James Blackwood, hired my dad, Charles Novell, in 1962 to teach at then the Stamps Conservatory of Music. The roots of that school, if you trace the Charles Novell School of Music back, it's the same school. And so what started with our dads in 1962, me and Billy get to lock arms and do side by side. And that is such an honor because I get to do ministry beside one of my heroes, one of my mentors, one of, I never had a brother. Jeff was the closest thing I had to a brother. And then I got to put Billy right there because he has spoken to my life so many times personally, musically, spiritually, ministry wise. He's just been a constant voice in my life. So Billy will be with us. My daughter, Aaliyah Novell, she's following the family thing here. She is a teacher and she's an excellent teacher. She helps us with theory classes and some various things during the week. Jim Quayles. Jim is another kind of inside story. He was part of the school. He attended the school. I've produced multiple projects for multiple groups that he's been part of over the years, and just a great friend. And he helps us in so many ways. We have a beginning guitar class that we offer, and he teaches that class. He teaches private guitar as well, helps us in our performance training class. Jim Sheldon, known as the Positive Cowboy. Man, you're not going to meet a nicer person on the face of this planet than Jim Sheldon. And Jim is there to help us in whatever way that he can. He helps us in teaching some workshops and seminars. He's a guy that if I need somebody just to go and talk and fill some time, man, I can do that. A, I trust him. I know his heart. And B, he's just a genuinely sincere, amazing human. So if you come to CNS23, that's a side benefit, is just getting to say you met the Positive Cowboy, Jim Sheldon. Let's see, who else? We're going to have a young man named Devin Ramon with us. Devin is gifted in the area of social media and promotions and marketing and branding, and he's going to be there teaching some seminars. Rick Francis from the Singing News will be with us. Joseph Reed from the Singing News will be a special guest coming in. John Mays, someone that John is works for Centricity Music. He's been with Benson and Sparrow over the years, a Word, I believe. And a cool side thing with John was the second bass guitar teacher that I ever had at this school as a student. And man, I just really looked up to him and loved his playing, still do. And so it's going to be an honor to have John with us this week. Pastor John Groves absolutely has just become a close, dear friend of mine. Again, kind of from within. I met him. I was playing at a concert in Orlando, Florida with the Ferguson family, the Browns, and the Ball brothers. And I had a product table for the school set up in the lobby. This guy, his wife, his son come up to the table. We met them. They attended the school that year. And I immediately brought John on staff, kind of as a staff pastor. He helps us with devotions. He teaches seminars and workshops as well for us. So absolutely just a great, great, great addition to our crew, and love having John on board. Hey, we are also going to have Scott Godsey from Godsey Media, from Seawalker. Man, Scott is one of the most creative and intuitive brains in all of our industry and all of gospel music. Everything that Scott touches is successful. And Scott will be with us as a guest one day, speaking in to our students, speaking into our staff, speaking. If I try to get everybody in the same room when he is there, because we have a phrase at CNS, and Scott Godsey is the face I need to put on this phrase. My dad would always say it this way: ask the right person the right question to get the right answer. Scott Godsey is that person. You can ask him the right question, you're going to get the right answer. So it's an honor to have Scott Godsey with us. I mean, I am dreadfully thinking I'm leaving someone out. And if I am, and staff person, you hear this and I forgot you, please forgive me. We'll be making those posts on social media here over the next couple of days. But listen, the last thing I want to share with you, songwriting is a big part of what we do at the school. We've got a great lineup of songwriting instructors this year, confirmed to date. I'm still kind of working on this area, but Billy Blackwood is going to speak to our writers one day. We also have Allison Spear will be there. Dave Clark, unbelievable that we can get a guy like Dave Clark to come and speak to our songwriting students. Dave was just recently recognized by BMI as being the only writer in Christian music to have #1 hits in 5 consecutive decades. Y'all, we're talking everybody from Karen Peck and New River to Sandy Patty, Larno Harris, For Him, Point of Grace, all the way into newer Maverick City and newer worship music. Dave is just a gifted songwriter. He'll be there with us. Rodney Griffin, you all, again, I say some of these names and I stop and pinch myself and think, is this real? Rodney, what a gifted writer that Rodney is. And Rodney's one of the newest inductees into the SGMA Hall of Fame and Museum there in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. He was inducted as part of the class of 22 last year at the National Quartet Convention. Rodney, so many hits, you all, so many hits. My Name is Lazarus. He'd Still Been God. I mean, I could go down the list. There's so many. He's going to be speaking in to our songwriters. I will be speaking one day. I love when I get the opportunity to speak. I love to write. I love the studying songwriting and learning myself. So I love getting to be able to teach a class and pass this information along. That lets you know who our staff is. And CNS is a great experience. We would love to see you part of CNS23. We're filling up and rapidly filling up, but we still have room, and we have room for you. So you can contact us. You can reach us at www.cnsmusic.com. That will take you directly to the webpage. You can get more information on the school. You can reach out and inquire. And if you've got questions, you can contact us through the website. You can also, it's real simple. You can register right there. Once you land on our homepage, there is multiple ways. The easiest is the button that says register here. You can click on that, and that takes you directly to the registration page. You can fill that out. A small deposit is needed at that time that secures your spot, and then we'll settle up on the balance a little later. But we would love to have you with us at CNS 23, July 16th through the 22nd at Murray State University in Murray, Kentucky. And I promise you, if you show up on that campus on July 16th, that will just be for the full week. That will be the first day that will become your best day yet. Y'all be blessed. Thanks for listening to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the name the Charles Novell School of Music. And for more information on CNS and our upcoming events, like our online school, our weekend regional sessions, our creative coaching, and our pastor's retreat, you can visit us at our website at www.cnsmusic.com. As you've listened to this episode, we hope that you've gained some information that you can apply to your music and to your ministry to make today the best day yet.